In the last section, we set up our account and enabled a billing alarm. Now we're going to create our first resource, an Amazon EC2 instance. Elastic Compute Cloud, or EC2, is a web service that provides secure, resizable compute capacity in the cloud. It is designed to make web-scale cloud computing easier for developers. EC2's simple web service interface makes it easier to provision and configure capacity with very little friction using APIs. You have complete control of your computing resources, and they are running on Amazon's proven infrastructure. EC2 reduces the time required to obtain and boot new server instances to minutes, allowing you to quickly scale capacity both up and down as your requirements change. EC2 offers pay-as-you-go pricing with no upfront cost. It provides developers the tools to build failure-resilient applications and isolate them from common failure scenarios. In order to launch an EC2 instance, several properties have to be configured, such as the Amazon Machine Image, or AMI, the instance type or hardware profile, security groups, storage, and key pairs. Now let's take a look at launching an EC2 instance on the AWS Console. Okay, so here we are in the AWS Console, in the EC2 dashboard. You can see here I have a couple of instances already running that I've launched previously. And what we're going to do here is launch a new instance. So I clicked on my Launch New Instance button. And as I said previously, one of the first things we have to do is create or use our Amazon Machine Image. As you can see, we have choices here of over 36 AMIs to choose from. We've got AMIs I may have built previously. We have a marketplace we can choose from. And so here we're picking our software profile for our instance. So I'm going to use the built-in Amazon Linux AMI. You can see it's configured with Docker, PHP, MySQL, Postgres. It's got the AWS command line tools installed, Python, etc. So I'll go ahead and click Select. So we've chosen our AMI. Now we need to choose our hardware profile, or our instance type. We have several families of instance types, general purpose, and if I scroll down here a bit, you can see there's some here for compute optimized, GPU graphics. For our purposes, we're going to stick with the general purpose instance type, and we're going to use T2 Micro. You can see that it has 1 vPCU, a gig of memory, EBS-only storage, etc. I'll go ahead and click Next to configure it further. And now we can add some of our instance details. How many instances do we want to launch? How we want to purchase them? Which VPC we want to launch it into? I'll select default. But the point I want to make on this particular screen, as we leave the rest of it to default, is to click on Advanced Details. And if I scroll down here a bit, you can see that there's a place here for you to actually enter user data. And user data is where we can place commands that will run at launch time for this instance. It's a quick way to configure our instance. It's a way for us to tell it what software we want it to run on top of the operating system and other services that are running. So this is a way for us to configure our instance so that when it comes up running, it is executing the application we want it to host. Okay? And we're going to do this in a later exercise. So I'll click on Next, Add Storage. We'll leave this as a default as well. Click Next again, Add Tags. Tags is where we can add user-defined metadata to our resources. Most of our resources allow you to add tags. So I'll add a tag here, which will be a key value pair. Here I'll do name of my instance, and I'll add the value at X. I'll click Next to configure our security group, which is like a virtual firewall, allows us to control network traffic to and from our instance. I'll select an existing one. And I'll click. You can see here, this one is going to allow us to use HTTP, using TCP protocol, port 80 from anywhere, and also we have a rule for SSH on port 22 from anywhere. So this is the connectivity to and from this particular instance. I'll click Review and Launch. Now we can take a look at our settings for everything we've configured for this particular instance. It's giving me a warning here, letting me know that my instance is open to the world with that SSH rule. That's fine for our purposes. Now we'll click Launch. It's asking us to choose a key pair. This is the key pair I mentioned previously. We use this as a way of authenticating if we want to actually connect your SSH to our box so that we can do some administrative work on it, but maybe install other services or do some more configuration. I'm actually going to create a new one here. Now everything is configured. I'll click on my Launch Instances button, and you can see it's initiating or launching my instance. Now this takes a few minutes, but I can also click here on the View Instances button, and we can see our edX instance is spinning up, and it's in an instance state of pending. After about 3 or 4 minutes, that instance state will change to running, and our instance will be launched and ready to go. Okay, so as you can see now, our instance has been spun up. You can see that it's in the running state. It has passed both of our status checks, 2 for 2. Let's enlarge this a little bit now. And I'm selecting that particular instance. And you can see data about this instance down here at the bottom portion of the window. So here's the instance ID, its instance state, the instance type we chose, T2 micro, our key pair, and there's some other information over here as well. We can check our status checks. Both have been passed, as well as our tags where we created the name of the instance and gave it the value at X. So everything is working and ready to go, and now we can host an application on this instance.